training will walk through the processes for a P-card holder and a P-card manager in Bank of America Works. Access Bank of America Works and log in. You'll be directed to the home page. The home page will have a My Announcements section that will always display the current sweep date and the last date for you to allocate and sign off on your transactions. It's important to review this information and ensure you're tracking to the last date that you have to allocate and sign off on your Works transactions. For example, the announcement currently shows that the last workday to allocate and sign off on January transactions is Wednesday, February 5th. All transactions will be swept, automatically signed off at 12:01 on Thursday, February 6th. The sweep date changes every month and will always be posted in this section. To reconcile and sign off on your transactions, you can access them either from the Action Items Pending or from the Expenses Transactions section. The transactions will load on the Pending Sign-Off tab. Adjust your date range with the Date filter by clicking the checkbox to drop down, clicking on the calendar icon. I'm going to click Month to Date to look at the current month's transactions and then click Search. The fields displayed here display different information for your transactions. The document number is a unique identifier to identify each transaction. The primary account holder will be the name of the P-card or department P-card. The account ID is the last 4 digits of the card. Date posted is the date the transaction posted to Works. Date purchased is the date of the actual purchase. Then the purchase amount or credit amount, as shown here. The vendor's name. The comp val off column is associated with the allocation column. It provides a visual reminder of allocations that have not been fully entered yet. For example, this transaction does not have a full allocation entered, and the red X is displayed on the left-hand side of this field. Once a full allocation is entered, that red X will change to a green check mark. The amount allocated is the next column. Then we have the comments column. If comments are entered on the transaction, they'll be displayed here. And then we have the sign off for the account holder and the approver columns. When the account holder, so the P-card holder, will sign off on their transactions, or a department P-card manager will sign off on department P-card transactions. Once they sign off, the name and date will be displayed here. And once the approver, so either the supervisor for the P-card holder or the department head for a department card, when they sign off, their name and date will be captured in these fields. The final column is the uploaded receipt column, which will display a yes if documents have been uploaded for the transaction, or a no if no documents have been uploaded. This field can be used to toggle between all yes or no, so you can see just the yeses, just the nos, or all. To allocate your transaction, access the transaction, click on the drop-down arrow and click on Allocate and Edit. Here, you will enter the fund, function, cost center, and object code. The object code in Works is split between the class and the object. The GL class will always be a 5, and the object will be the remaining 4 digits of what we call the object code. So instead of saying 55720, you'll put the 5 in the class and then the 5720 in the object. For example, you'll enter your fund, function, cost center, GL class, and the rest of the object code. And scroll down, and here you can add a comment if necessary in the comment field. And you can either click Save or Save and Allocate Next. Save and Allocate Next will bring up the next transaction for you to allocate. Save will save what you have already allocated. And then close. This transaction has now been allocated. To enter a receipt or any appropriate approval or supporting documentation, you can click on either the uploaded receipt and click Add New Receipt. From here, you'll select your receipt, enter your receipt date, and enter a description. This description field will be the business reason, just a short description of what the purchase is and who it was for. For example, office supplies for Jess, and click OK. I now have the document added. I can view it by clicking on the drop down next to the file name and clicking View Receipt. It'll open in a separate window. I can also edit it if I need to. I can edit the description or the receipt date. And if I needed to delete it and add a different receipt, I can click on the checkbox and click Remove. Alternatively, you can come over to the document field, click on the drop-down arrow, and click Manage Receipts, which will open the same window to add, remove, and edit. Once your transaction or transactions have been allocated, the receipt and appropriate description have been entered, any supporting or approval documents have been attached. At this point, you can sign off on the transaction. A reminder that only the P-card holder for an individual card or the department P-card manager for a department card should sign off. If you are the P-card manager for somebody else's P-card, you can allocate, upload the receipt, enter the business reason, but you'll leave the sign off for the P-card holder. The P-card holder will come in and review what you've entered and click on the sign off button. So if you're ready to sign off, you can click on just one transaction by clicking on the drop down and clicking sign off, which will bring up confirm sign off, where you have another comment where you could enter any comments that you would need to. Click OK to confirm sign off or cancel to cancel. If you want to sign off on multiple transactions, you can click on the checkbox next to each one and then use the sign off button down at the bottom here to sign off on multiple transactions. Transactions that you have already signed off on can be viewed under the Signed Off tab here, and you can adjust the date range under the date filter, clicking on the calendar icon, and you can look at either specific date, prior month, and here you'll see the transactions that you have already signed off on. You can also add multiple receipts in a different manner so that receipts are available when you are attaching receipts to individual transactions. Under the Expenses menu, Receipts, you can come over here and add receipts to this section. You'll add them just as we did on each individual transaction by clicking Add Receipt, searching for a file, adding in your file, entering your receipt date and a description, and you can continue to add all of the documents that you might need for your current transactions. I'll just add 2 here as an example. All of the documents that you add in this section will be available when you go to reconcile your transactions and add in your receipts. So I'll go back to Expense menu, Transactions, Pending Sign Off. The date range is still the date range I want to view. And if I come down to a transaction that I need to add a receipt to, I'll click on the uploaded receipt. I can also click on the drop-down button and click on Manage Receipts. And from here, when I click the Add button and I go to Stored Receipt, all of those documents that I previously added are available. I find this helpful if I need to add multiple documents to a transaction. You can select different documents that you have already added in, reviewing the description and the file name to determine which one you want to use. You can also view the file if you're not sure. And then if you click Attach, all of those transactions are attached to your file. You can edit those that you've already attached if you needed to. For example, if you needed to edit the description, you can click the Edit button and still edit the description as needed. Close. For procedure walkthrough guides on the Works Procedures by Role, please access the purchasing website, and there's procedure guides that follow step by step through the process we just went through that are available to view. Any questions, please contact purchasing.